Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. NFL Draft. One thing that had observers curious about the Cowboys was the extent to which they would add skill position players. There was a clear need for a running back with the departure of star Tony Pollard, and with the failure of the team to add any sensible replacement in free agency. But there was also some buzz around potential wide receivers, in a draft that was loaded with options and on a team whose depth at the position had come into serious questions. The Cowboys, though, plowed through the entirety of the draft without adding a back at all, and did not take a flyer on a receiver until the 6th round, when Southeast Missouri star Ryan Flournoy was tabbed by Dallas. Flournoy is a 6'1", 200-pound 24-year-old who was considered one of the top FCS prospects in last year's draft. But though he has speed and promise, Flournoy might struggle to make the final 53-man roster. In fact, in ESPN's initial pre-camp projection, Flournoy is pegged as a cut. Cowboys roster projection keeps 5 WRs. The projection from ESPN starts with the two obvious top players on the Cowboys receiver depth chart, expected holdout star CeeDee Lamb and veteran number 2 Brandon Cooks. But after those two, the competition should be fairly open. There are questions beyond Lamb and Cooks, but the Cowboys believe Tolbert is more than ready to be their number 3, while Brooks will have a chance to win that job. Turpin has produced when called upon, and his versatility will be a bonus. Plus, the new kickoff rule could make Turpin an even more dangerous returner. Underachieving third-year player Tolbert will get the first crack at the team's number 3 spot, with Brooks in the mix, too. If the Cowboys do not carry 6 receivers, then Turpin is likely the final entry, with Flournoy on the outs. It is possible, though, that the Cowboys make a cut elsewhere. Will they carry 3 quarterbacks? 10 offensive linemen, that would leave a spot open for Flournoy. That will be determined by how he looks in training camp, of course, but it actually might be in Dallas' best interest for him to not make too much of an impression. If Flournoy does not create a splash in camp, he could be stored on the practice squad and brought along slowly. But if he generates some buzz and the Cowboys still try to send him to the practice squad, there's a chance another team could poach him onto their 53-man roster. Ryan Flournoy loaded with raw ability. Flournoy has good measurables and starred at a small school, earning back-to-back first-team All-Big South/Ohio Valley Conference honors. He ran a 4.44 40-yard dash and is a potentially freakish athlete with enticing raw ability. That makes the Cowboys want to keep and develop him, but for a team hoping to remain in contention with win-now players, there might not be room. SI.com's pre-draft scouting report on Flournoy focused on his skills, but noted that he needs work on his routes. Ryan Flournoy possesses the ideal size and athleticism for an outside receiver role, the site wrote. His very good linear speed and acceleration allow him to constantly threaten defenses, while his reliable hands and ability to extend for catches make him a valuable target in contested situations. Flournoy's effectiveness post-catch, characterized by his strength in breaking tackles and gaining yardage, further showcases his potential at the next level. However, Flournoy's route running is an area ripe for development. The Dallas Cowboys Hall of Fame receiver has questions about the team locker room. Irvin's ire is specifically directed at quarterback Dak Prescott, receiver CeeDee Lamb and edge rusher Micah Parsons for not policing their family members from taking shots at the team on social media in the aftermath of the loss to Green Bay. Irvin readily acknowledges that owner Jerry Jones has done little in the offseason to improve the roster. They haven't done anything, he said. But he is particularly bothered by the 3 guys, Prescott, Lamb and Parsons, who are in line for massive contract extensions. 3 guys, he says, are the keys to the team. The biggest problem is who you're paying, Irvin said. We're about to take 3 guys who I hear Dak's people talking noise in the media all the time, CeeDee's people talking on social media and Micah Parsons' people talking in the media or Micah himself. We got our top 3 guys that we're about to give all the money in the world. and their families, are always running their expletive mouth in the media. That is a hard place to be. So what it says to me is you're about to give money to 3 guys that are not even together. Irvin is speaking about incidents since the loss the Packers. He's referring to when Lamb's mother called out Prescott on Facebook, as well the brothers of both Prescott and Parsons shared their feelings about the team, scheme and contracts on social media. Nick Harris, there's no question that the 2023 version of the Dallas Cowboys failed to reach their ceiling. That ceiling was a Super Bowl appearance, in my eyes. And yes, with how free agency shook out paired with an added layer of pressure going into 2024 with the expiring contracts hanging over the team, that ceiling is lower. But I still see a reality where the Cowboys can finally get back to the NFC Championship game. I still like Dallas in games against Detroit, Philadelphia, and Los Angeles. It's just San Francisco that I can't see Dallas getting past until the group actually does it. I think a realistic goal is a playoff appearance, with the ceiling being reaching that NFC CG. Mickey Spagnola, the goal always is winning record, win the division, of course qualifying for the playoffs, and as we know with the Cowboys' 28-year NFC title game desert, get to the conference title game. Realistic? Why not? We know the Cowboys lost a bevy of players in free agency. We know they are incorporating 3 new defensive coaches. But look, the Cowboys sent 10 players to the Pro Bowl last season, and of the 12 players from last year no longer on the roster heading toward training camp, not one of those Pro Bowlers is missing. Oh, and they have Trayvon Diggs, the previous Pro Bowl corner, returning from his torn ACL. Developing depth might be the Cowboys' key factor to taking the next step. Kyle Humans, it's nearly impossible to look at the current makeup of the Cowboys roster and say they're more talented than they were a year ago. But if there's a lack of confidence in the overall makeup of the roster, that's being overcritical. This team returns 8 players from the 2023 AP All-Pro lists, losing only Tyron Smith during free agency this offseason, making them one of the best rosters in the NFL and the favorite in the NFC East. Dallas has a chance, just as they have the last 3 seasons, to win the division and make a run in the playoffs. So, that's the goal. Win the division, make a run in the playoffs, and everything will be okay. Anything less than that could make the 2025 offseason a complete overhaul. Dighton, the first-round pick, needs to be ready to play immediately in replacing Tyron Smith. Hoffman has the edge on Beebe at the center spot as camp opens. Bass can play all 3 interior spots, while Richards is working at tackle and guard. Holdovers Josh Ball and Matt Waletzko are about to have their final chance to make an impression. Parsons might be listed as a linebacker, but he's an edge player. He could move around more under new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer than he did under Dan Quinn. After a disappointing rookie season, Smith has to deliver, but the Cowboys could still look for veteran defensive tackle help, which is why Davis gets the last spot, for now. Fehoko, a 4th-round pick last year, could be trade bait and will have to impress early after not playing as a rookie. As reported by Aaron Wilson of KPRC2 Houston, the Cowboys worked out linebacker Noah Dawkins on Monday, July 22. Dawkins previously went undrafted in 2019, but has spent time on NFL rosters and has played on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and New York Jets. He most recently played for the Michigan Panthers in the UFL during the spring. Cowboys and Bears have worked out at USFL Panthers linebacker Noah Dawkins, per a league source, and has interest from multiple #NFL teams. Dawkins, 6'1", 235, has previously played for Bengals, Buccaneers, Jets, Bears, Citadel Football, writes Wilson. It is actually the 2nd time since minicamp that the Cowboys have taken a look at Dawkins. They previously worked him out, along with UFL cornerbacks Garion Conley and DeAndre Baker, in June. The Cowboys actually ended up signing Conley shortly after that workout. The 6'1" Dawkins impressed during his pro day workout before the 2019 NFL Draft, posting a 4.41 40-yard dash time. Despite pulling his hamstring during that workout, he still managed to run at that speed. That's not even mentioning how Dawkins actually ran a 4.37 40-yard dash before his pro day workout. Had Dawkins participated in the NFL Combine, the latter mark would have been the fastest of any linebacker in Combine history. The 26-year-old Dawkins appeared in 10 games with the Buccaneers during his rookie season in 2019, seeing 65% of the special teams snaps. He played the same role for the Jets when he played in 7 games during the 2020 and 2021 seasons, appearing in 83 special teams snaps in those appearances. Both of Dallas' top players, quarterback Dak Prescott and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, are seeking contract extension. Both franchise players are entering the final years of their deals, with Lamb due to hold out during training camp, as he did during minicamp, without a deal in place. While Prescott will not use such a negotiating tactic, he will be present at training camp. The Cowboys face the very realistic possibility this could be his last camp as a member of the franchise if they don't get a deal done soon. According to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, the Cowboys want a contract in place for Prescott before he hits free agency next spring. However, the longer they wait, the more likely it becomes Prescott's new deal becomes a record-setting contract. Here's a little bit of a wrinkle, Fowler said on Sunday, July 21st. You still have Tua Tagovailoa in Miami, who needs to get a deal done. You still have Jordan Love in Green Bay, who needs to get a deal done. Dak Prescott has the most leverage of those three, so he very well could be waiting for those two to go first and then he bats clean up with a huge deal that could be a market resetter. The longer the Cowboys wait to get a deal done with Prescott, the more they'll have to pony up in cash. That's not necessarily a good idea considering the quarterback market next free agency will be thin if Jordan Love and Tua Tagovailoa re-sign with their respective teams.